So Damian, thank you for joining me. Now we officially have a start date for the season. We'll be playing Rosslyn Park at home on the 4th of September. How nice is it to finally have a date to work towards?
Yeah, I think it's massive for everyone. It's one of those things where we've been working for so long with kind of no light at the end of the tunnel, essentially. I think more than anything else, it's nice to have something to focus the mind a little bit. I mean, when you look at Rosslyn Park, they're probably one of the biggest teams in the league. So for the players to have that kind of carrot at the end of what's been pretty bleak time in some ways is massive. It's like anything, the boys want to know what they're working towards. And whilst they've had this abstract idea that at some point the season's going to start, it's nice to actually have that firm starting date that we can pin our colours to it and kind of go for, really. So it gives us that kind of ability to tailor pre-season, work towards something, rather than just, I'm sure at some point they felt like just working for the sake of working. So from our point of view, it's incredibly positive for us.
The boys have been back for their first few sessions. How's the attitude been? Have they been excited to be back?
Yeah, it's been great. We've got a good group in terms of they're all very close with each other and they all obviously enjoy each other's company, which comes across in training. The attitude from my point of view has been spot on. One of the things I've always said is that we can never really question them on their physical endeavour. They always work really hard, and that's kind of carried through into this pre-season block. They've unfortunately had to kind of deal with 2 or 3 previous blocks that we've had to do where we've, for some reasons we've thought we had a start date coming up. That hasn't happened, so they've been off and on again, and I can't really fault their kind of physical endeavour throughout the whole thing. And as I say, they've jumped straight into this, and it's been a good start so far. There's been plenty of smiles on faces and a lot of hard work as well, to be honest. And also what's been quite pleasing is that our skills seem to be still pretty good. We haven't had anyone kind of slip off things. It's been pretty sharp. So overall, I've been pretty happy.
Now, obviously, it's still only pre-season, so you can't expect the world of them. But are you happy with where they're all at physically at the minute, or is there some that still need to catch up?
Oh, it's like anything, any squad. Even when you're in the middle of season, there's always some who are going to be head and shoulders above others in terms of their physical kind of strengths and weaknesses. It's been a tough time for the boys because obviously we have been up and down. Gyms have been closed for long periods. But generally speaking, we've done some conditioning testing, which is professional level testing. So we've got something good to kind of test ourselves against and work out where we're at. And some of the boys perform very well when you compare them to kind of scores that professionals would get. Some didn't do so well, but you can't necessarily hold that against them, bearing in mind that the long layoff. So we're in that position at the moment where we've got a good base to start from. And for us, it's just obviously about using this next kind of block of 4 weeks or so just to kick on and really work on our conditioning there.
How's it been keeping the guys mentally sharp, sort of ensuring that they're match ready?
It has been tough. It's tough on them because I've said this before to you. Rugby players are naturally competitive animals. They want to have an end goal. They want to be on the pitch. They want to be working hard, and they want to be playing rugby. That's why they're all here at the end of the day. It's because they have a love for rugby and they want to play, and it's been tricky because there's been so many periods where we thought that the end is in sight, we've got a league coming up, and then for whatever reason, whilst it's understandable, it's been taken away from us, and it's been hard for the guys to kind of pick themselves up, dust themselves off and kind of go again a few times. I do take my hat off to them a little bit for the fact that they've just kept coming back, and it's not always been a case of they've been pushed to come back. There's been a lot of times when they've been asking, can we start early, can we do this, can we do that. There's been a lot of boys who've been actively trying to push things along, so I can't speak high enough for them for that reason. But it's been a tricky one. It's just nice to know that hopefully, fingers crossed, we're kind of coming towards the end of it, really.
Now, for you as a coach, obviously this must have been an extremely challenging year, trying to sort of create a style of play and an ethos amongst the squad. How have you tried to overcome those challenges?
It's been tricky because obviously, similar to the players, we've had no concrete knowledge of when we're starting, when we can do X, Y and Z, and obviously trying to plan out sessions and trying to plan out blocks of training has been a logistical nightmare, really, because you've been doing it to all intents and purposes. We've been doing it blind. It's one of those ones where you can know as much as you want to know what you want to do, but it's just actually being allowed to do it. So it has been a tough one, but I think we're at that stage now where we're more or less back to what it was. I know obviously we've got some restrictions still on certain aspects of the game and how long we can do those for, but generally speaking, we're at that stage now where we can do what we want to do anyway, more or less. And generally speaking, we've kept the bulk of the squad from last year. There's only a couple who kind of aren't involved, as far as I'm aware, going forward. So that ethos is already kind of there from last year. So for myself and for Ryan, it's about adding on to that and obviously trying to improve or help where we can. But we're lucky we've got a good squad, good foundations, and hopefully that shouldn't be too difficult.
Fantastic. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to talk to me. We can't wait for the start of the season.
Neither could I. Thank you.